There's a split second, barely noticeable, between what happens to us and how we choose to react. Most people miss it. In a world moving faster than our breath, impulse often takes the lead, not wisdom. One careless comment, a strange look, an unexpected silence. Suddenly we're triggered, lost in emotion, driven by stories from the past. But what if you didn't have to react that way? What if you could stand still while the world spins around you? This isn't about being perfect or pretending to be above it all. It's about discovering a quieter power already inside you. This is the path of emotional mastery. Simple, human, possible. In this guide, you'll walk through 7 clear steps to respond with intention instead of impulse. You'll learn to pause, to listen to your body, to name what you feel before it takes over. You'll challenge the stories in your mind and let go of what no longer serves you. You'll stop being pulled by everything outside and start living from within. This is the way of the modern Stoic, not the cold thinker, but the steady soul, in traffic, in conflict, in life. If this speaks to you, follow the True Stoic Way, a channel for people like you, imperfect, honest, ready. But knowing the way isn't the same as walking it. So let's begin. Step by step, gently, honestly, together. The first step, it's not grand, not dramatic, it's simple, but powerful. It starts with what you don't do. Step 1, don't react so fast. Something happens, a tone, a look, a word that hits a nerve, and before you even think, you're already in it. Your body tightens, your voice rises, your thoughts race, and the reaction, it just happens. That's how most of us live, from trigger to reaction. Instant, automatic, unquestioned. But here's the truth. Your real power begins in the pause, that tiny space between what happens to you and what you choose to do next. It's small, but sacred, because inside that space lives your freedom. When you react without thinking, you're letting your past take the wheel. Old wounds, old fears, old stories. But when you pause, even for a single breath, you interrupt the pattern. You step outside the storm, and you give yourself a moment to choose. Maybe you still respond, but now it's with awareness. Or not just habit, maybe you speak up, maybe you stay silent, but now you're choosing, not just firing back. That is strength, that is dignity, that is self-respect. Pausing isn't weakness, it's mastery. And yes, at first it feels hard, it feels unnatural, like holding back a wave that wants to crash. But the more you practice, the easier it gets, the more natural it feels. To breathe, to see, to wait, to act from clarity instead of chaos. So next time you feel the heat rise, stop, breathe, ask yourself, what am I really reacting to? Is this about now or something old? Do I want to respond, or do I just want to release this? You'll be amazed how many fires never have to burn once you learn to pause. That pause, it's not empty, it's not passive, it's a full conscious act of reclaiming your center. The world loves quick reactions, but what the world needs is more calm responses. That's what this step is about. Not reacting so fast, and instead, learning to respond with wisdom. And if you forget, it's okay, start again, pause again, try again. Every moment offers another chance to reclaim your breath and choose again. This is how you begin. Not by fixing everything, but by not reacting to everything. And as that pause grows, so does your freedom. You stop being dragged, you start deciding, you stop echoing noise, you start embodying stillness, you stop bleeding energy into every trigger, and start living from your center. This is the first step. It's not loud, it's not impressive, it's quiet, simple, and transformative. And the best part, it's always available, right here, right now, even in this breath, especially in this breath. So take it, feel it, let it anchor you. You're not your reactions, you're the space that sees them. In that space, that's where your strength lives. Now, if that moment of pause is where your power begins, then what tells you that moment is coming? What's the first signal that something is stirring inside you? Your body knows, before your mind ever does. Let's talk about that. In step 2, the body knows before the mind. And if this first step speaks to something inside you, if you feel the pull to keep walking this path, you're not alone. Join us at True Stoic Way, where calm is strength, clarity is power, and your inner life finally gets the attention it deserves. Let's keep going, together. Step 2, the body knows before the mind. Before your brain catches on, your body already knows. It whispers. Sometimes it shouts. But either way, it speaks first. A tightness in the chest, a flutter in the stomach, shoulders pulled high, jaw clenched, a breath held without you realizing. You think you're just having a moment, but your body's been ringing the alarm for a while now. Emotions don't start in the mind, and they start in the body always. It's your body that says something's off before your brain decides what story to attach to it. But most of us don't notice. We're too busy, too distracted, too used to ignoring the signals. We brush past the lump in our throat. We laugh off the stomach ache. We push through the tension in our shoulders, back, neck. We live in our heads, disconnected from the most honest place we have. And here's the cost. We lose the chance to catch our emotions before they take over. But what if you did notice? What if the next time your heart started racing, you paused? What if that sudden sigh, that fidget, that restlessness wasn't just weird energy, but a message? Your body is your first responder, your built-in emotional radar, always listening, always signaling. And when you learn to listen back, you shift everything. You start to notice that anxiety has a rhythm, that anger has a temperature, that sadness has weight, and you begin to track your storms while there are still small clouds on the horizon before they turn into lightning. That's the gift, that's the superpower. Because once you see the wave coming, you don't have to drown in it. You can breathe, you can ground, you can choose. But to do that, you have to be present, not racing to fix, not escaping the feeling, just noticing. Try this. Next time you feel off, before labeling anything, pause, ask yourself, where is this showing up in my body? Is my breath shallow? Is my stomach tight? Are my hands restless? And instead of judging, just observe. No need to analyze, no need to figure it out. Just notice. Place a hand on your chest, let it rise with your breath. Say quietly, I feel something here. That's enough. That's the beginning. This is what the Stoics would call preparation of the self, a readiness, a steady awareness. They didn't speak often about the body, but they practiced a life rooted in observation. You can do the same today. Right now, the body is your compass, your grounding wire, your first anchor when emotion begins to rise. Don't ignore it, don't shame it, don't silence it. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Your body isn't betraying you, it's trying to protect you, guide you, speak to you. So when it tenses, ask why. When it aches, be gentle. When it feels off, listen. And slowly with practice, you'll find something surprising. You don't just survive your feelings, you begin to dance with them, to ride the wave instead of being crushed by it. And the more you listen, the more your body will trust you. It won't need to scream just to be heard. It'll whisper, and you'll hear it. This is the heart of self-mastery, not control, but connection, not suppression, but understanding. Because what you can feel fully, you don't have to fear. And what you understand, you can begin to heal. So check in often, place your awareness inward. Before you speak, before you act, before you spiral. It's like, what is my body telling me right now? You don't need all the answers. You just need to be present enough to ask the question. And in that presence, you find your power. The pause gave you space. The body gives you warning. Now comes the next piece, naming what you feel so it doesn't name you. Let's talk about that in step 3, name the feeling before it becomes you. And if these words help you reconnect with that inner knowing, if they remind you to check in with yourself, then you're exactly where you need to be. Come join us at True Stoic Way, where we learn not just to feel, but to feel wisely. Your next step is waiting. Let's keep walking together. Step 3, emotions aren't bad, they're just messengers. You feel something, strong, sudden, overwhelming, a flash of anger, a rush of fear, a sting of shame. And the first thought is, what's wrong with me? We've been taught to label these moments as failures, as flaws, as signs of weakness. But what if they're not? What if your emotions aren't problems to fix, but messengers to hear? No emotion is bad, not by nature, not by design. Anger isn't evil, it's often a shield for hurt. Fear isn't weakness, it's the body trying to protect you. Even envy, sadness, guilt, they all carry messages. They all come bearing a story, usually not just about now, but about something older, something deeper, a time you weren't heard, a moment you were shamed, a need that went unmet, a wound still open. We call them overreactions, but they're rarely random. They're echoes. They're alarms from the past ringing in the present. And when you ignore them, judge them, shove them down, they don't go away. They go underground and they grow. That's why the real work isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about recognizing the voice behind it, the pain underneath it, the truth it's trying to tell. Think of it this way. If someone knocked on your door over and over, would you yell at them to shut up? Or would you ask, why are you here? Your emotions are knocking, not to ruin your peace, but to help you reclaim it. So the next time something flares up, pause. Instead of pushing it away, say, okay, you have my attention. What do you need me to see? Maybe that sharp anger isn't about this moment, but about years of being dismissed. Maybe that anxiety isn't just nerves, but an old story that told you you're not safe unless you are perfect. Maybe that sadness isn't about what was said, but what was never said to you when you needed it most. Emotions carry history, but they don't have to control your future. When you stop judging them, they stop controlling you. They soften, they open, they begin to shift, but only when you meet them with curiosity, not condemnation. Try this. Next time you feel a wave rising, instead of asking, how do I make this stop? Ask, what's this trying to show me? What part of me is still tender? What old script is being activated? Because here's the truth, what you don't understand, you can't transform. You'll keep repeating the same fights, the same shutdowns, the same guilt, the same shame, until one day you pause and listen. That's the turning point. That's how growth begins. You don't need to love every emotion, but you can learn not to fear them, because emotions are just data, signals, like a compass, like a light on your dashboard. They're not here to control you, they're here to inform you. And when you learn to read them, really read them, you take back your power, not by pushing feelings away, but by welcoming them like visitors with something to say. You don't have to act on every emotion, you just have to hear it. You don't have to agree with it every thought, you just have to notice it. This is how emotional mastery begins, not with silence, but with listening. So next time your chest tightens, your voice rises, your eyes well up, pause. Lean in, ask, what old story is being touched? What needs haven't been heard? What part of me is asking for care? And just like that, you shift from being ruled to being aware, from resisting emotion to receiving insight, from reacting blindly to responding with grace. This is the work, messy, quiet, brave. And with each moment of understanding, you become a little less reactive, a little more steady, a little more free, because emotions aren't enemies, they're reminders. You don't need to fix them, you need to hear them. So far, you've learned to pause. You've learned to listen to your body. You've learned to listen to your emotions. Now it's time to go one step deeper. Let's give those feelings a name, because once you name what you feel, it loses its power to control you. Join me in step 4. Name the feeling before it becomes you. And if this part of the journey is helping you see yourself more clearly, if you're learning to make peace with what's inside, you're in the right place. Come walk further with us at True Stoic Way, where real people meet real emotions with quiet strength. We're just getting started. Let's go. Step 4, Name the feeling before it becomes you. There's a moment when the feeling rises and you don't quite know what it is yet. It's sharp, it's fast, it takes over. And before you even realize, you've said something you regret. You've shut down. You've pushed someone away. Later you ask, what just happened? But the truth is, the feeling happened. And it happened before you named it. Here's the key. What you can name, you can notice. What you notice, you can understand. And what you understand, you can choose how to respond to. But if you skip that step, if you react without knowing what you feel, you don't own the emotion. It owns you. This is why naming matters. You think you're angry? Maybe, but maybe you're hurt. You think you're distant? Maybe, but maybe you're scared of being seen. You think you're irritated? Maybe, but maybe you're tired or lonely or feeling small. Words change the story, even inside you. Try this. Instead of saying, I'm mad, say, I feel left out. I feel unimportant. I feel afraid I'm being forgotten. And suddenly the feeling softens, not because it disappears, but because it's been seen, accurately, honestly, gently. It's like giving a child a name. Now you can talk to it. Now you can care for it. Most of our pain comes from mislabeling our emotions, treating every discomfort like danger, treating every need like weakness. But feelings aren't threats. They're guides. They're clues. They're trying to help you understand what's happening inside, but they speak in sensation, not logic. You have to do the translation. That's the gift of naming. It brings clarity where there was only chaos. It brings compassion where there was only judgment. And it's not complicated. You don't need a therapist's vocabulary. Just pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? And then be honest. Not what sounds tough, not what sounds mature, just the truth. I feel jealous. I feel left behind. I feel not good enough. I feel not seen. Say it specifically, say it quietly, say it just for yourself. Because when you say, I feel anxious, you create space between you and the anxiety. You are not it. You are the one experiencing it. And that distance, it's where your freedom begins. That shift from I am angry to I feel anger might seem small, but it's massive because now you are not the emotion. You are the one observing it. You are not in the storm. You are the one watching the weather. And once you're watching, you can decide, do I act from this feeling or do I care for it in a different way? Try this practice today. Once, twice, as often as you remember. When something stirs inside, pause. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling? What would I call this if I wasn't afraid to admit it? And then name it out loud, in your journal, in your mind, and feel what happens. Feel the shift, the softening, the clarity. And know this is power, not the kind that overpowers, but the kind that understands. Not the kind that reacts, but the kind that chooses. That's how self-mastery works, not in big dramatic moves, but in quiet recognition of what's really going on inside you. And this is a life skill, one that changes everything. So far, you've paused. You've listened to your body. You've honored your emotions. You've named what you feel. Now it's time for the next step. Let's talk about the stories behind those feelings. Because feelings don't just appear. They're often born from what you believe, what you tell yourself, what you've assumed for years. Let's begin unlearning that in step 5, reframe the story you're telling yourself. And if this moment, right now, has helped you name something you've never said out loud before, you're already changing. You're already growing. Keep going. And come find us at True Stoic Way, a space to keep unfolding one honest step at a time. You belong here, exactly as you are. Step 5, reframe the story you're telling yourself. Something happens. Someone cancels, forgets, snaps at you, walks away. It's just a moment. One event, neutral on its own. But your mind, your beautiful, creative, terrified mind, rushes in to explain. They don't care. I'm not enough. This always happens to me. I must have done something wrong. I'm being left behind, though. And just like that, the moment isn't small anymore. It's a story, a spiral, a storm. The pain is no longer about what happened. It's about what you believe it means. That's how most suffering works. Not from the thing itself, but from the meaning we attach to it. You see, the mind is a storyteller, and it doesn't wait for permission. It fills in gaps, assumes intentions, creates entire narratives based on half a glance, half a memory, half a truth. And that's okay. It's trying to protect you, predict, make sense of the unknown, but it's not always accurate. In fact, it's often dead wrong. That's why the real power comes from this. Reframing, the gentle, deliberate act of questioning the story and asking, is this really the only way to see it? Because it rarely is. Let's say someone ignores your message. Your first thought, they're avoiding me. I'm not important. I must have said something wrong. But pause and ask, what else could be true? Maybe they're overwhelmed. Maybe they forgot. Maybe their silence has nothing to do with your worth. Now the tension shifts. The grip loosens. You've created space. You've opened a window in a room that felt like it had no air. That's what reframing does. It doesn't erase the event. It resets your relationship to it. It says, I don't know everything, so let me choose the view that brings me peace, not panic. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about challenging your first thought. Because the first thought is usually the loudest, not the truest. It's the oldest voice, the most familiar fear, the most practiced pain. But it's not the only voice. You have others, kinder ones, wiser ones. So bring them forward. See, what else could this mean? What would someone who loves me say here? Is this story making me smaller or setting me free? These questions, they shift you. They move you from reaction to reflection, from assumption to awareness, from emotional chaos to quiet clarity. Try it. Next time you feel rejected, pause. Name the story. I'm thinking they don't care. Now ask, is that true or just familiar? Now shift. I don't know what's happening with them, but I know how I want to treat myself right now. That's reframing, simple, powerful, human. It won't stop you from feeling pain, but it will stop you from feeding it. And that changes everything, because when you change the story, you change the feeling. And when you change the feeling, you change what you do next. You act with more patience, more courage, more grace. You stop picking the old wound. You start healing it, and slowly the mind learns a new habit. Not here, what's wrong with me? But what's really going on here? Not, this always happens to me, but this hurts and I'm still okay. You don't need perfect thoughts. You just need honest ones, flexible ones that serve you instead of punishing you. This is a skill. It takes practice, and you won't always catch it. Some days the old story will sneak in fast, convincing, familiar. That's okay. You're learning, and learning takes time. But every time you reframe, even once, you prove something powerful. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides which ones to keep. And that is emotional freedom. You've learned to pause, to feel, to name, to reframe. Now it's time to loosen the load even more. Let's talk about letting go of pride, ego, and old grudges, because what you carry shapes how far you can go. Step into that in part 6, let go to lighten the load. And if these steps are helping you breathe a little deeper, see a little clearer, come join us at True Stoic Way, where every thought can become lighter and every story can find a softer ending. We're walking this with you, one quiet shift at a time. Step 6, let go, not for them, but for you. They hurt you, maybe with words, maybe with silence, maybe with something you can't even explain. And you held it in your chest, in your mind, in your story, for days, for years, maybe still now. You tell yourself, I'll forgive when they apologize. I'll move on once they admit it. I can't let this go, not yet. It makes sense, you were wronged. They were careless. You deserve better. But here's the truth. Holding on doesn't heal you. It hardens you. It weighs you down. You think you're protecting yourself, but really, you're dragging the pain into every room you walk into. The anger, the bitterness, the coldness, it follows. Not because you're weak, but because you're tired of carrying what was never yours to fix. Forgiveness isn't approval, it's release. It's not saying what they did was fine. It's saying, I don't want to carry this anymore. It's not about them. It never was. Forgiveness is about freedom, your freedom. Because while they go on with their life, you're still stuck in the moment they created. Replaying it, retelling it, reliving it. That's not justice, that's a prison. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. The strength to say, my peace matters more than being right. My future matters more than this grudge. It doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean reconciling. It means setting the weight down. Because the truth is, no one else can do that for you. No apology will ever undo the wound. No revenge will ever bring back your time. But you can choose, right now, to stop handing your joy to people who didn't protect it. To stop letting pain decide how you show up in your life. It starts with a whisper, a shift. Maybe today you don't say, I forgive them. Maybe you just say, I'm ready to be free. That's enough. Because forgiveness is a process, not a one-time act, not a line you cross, but a path you return to. Every time the weight resurfaces, and some days you'll carry it again. That's okay. Just don't forget, you can set it down again. You don't owe anyone closure. You owe yourself peace, and peace doesn't come from punishing others in your mind. It comes from choosing lightness, from choosing you. So next time you feel that old fire, that I'll never let this go feeling, pause and ask yourself, am I protecting my dignity or my pain? Am I keeping the wound alive or giving myself permission to heal? Is this anger still helping me, or has it become my cage? And if the answer feels unclear, breathe. You don't have to let go all at once, but you can loosen the grip just a little, just enough to breathe again. Because forgiveness, real forgiveness, isn't about them falling to their knees. It's about you walking forward without needing them to. No more proving, no more rehashing, no more burning energy to keep an old fire lit. You were never meant to carry all that. You deserve to move freely, to love freely, to live lightly. Let go, not because they asked, not because they earned it, but because you deserve a life beyond that pain. You're allowed to be free, even if they never say sorry, even if they never change. You don't need anything from them to begin your peace, only your own permission. So give it gently, boldly, now. You've let go of your need to control the past. Now it's time to protect your present, because peace isn't just about what you release. It's also about what you allow in. In the next step, you'll learn to draw quiet lines of self-respect, so your energy stays yours. Join me in part 7, set boundaries and keep them. And if this part lifted even one brick from your shoulders, even 1 ounce from your heart, don't stop here. Join us at True Stoic Way, where letting go isn't weakness. It's the beginning of strength. Let's walk a little further together. Step 7, choose again. Every day you've paused, you've listened, you've named, you've reframed, you've let go. But here's the truth, it's not over. Because emotions don't just visit once, they return in different forms, through different people, at unexpected times. One moment, you're calm, and the next, you're right back in the old pattern. That's not failure, that's life. Mastery doesn't mean you never feel it again. It means you choose how to meet it again, and again, and again. Every emotion is a new fork in the road. Do I respond like before, or do I choose something different? This time, this is the work, not once, but daily. It's not the big dramatic choice, it's the quiet ones. The moment you want to snap, and instead you breathe. The moment you feel small, and instead you stay grounded. The moment you want to run, and instead you stay curious. It won't always feel strong. Sometimes it just feels quiet, subtle, gentle. But that choice right there, that's where change lives. Not in the books, not in the theories, in the moment you choose again. Some days you'll miss it. You'll fall into the old habit, say the thing you regret, shut down, blame, react. That's okay, start again. Choose again, that's the real path. Not perfection, but presence. You don't need to get it right every time. You just need to return to yourself as many times as it takes, like waves always coming back to shore. You are not broken when you fall back into old reactions. You are human, but you are also aware now. And awareness gives you power. Even if you fall 100 times, you now notice the pattern. That noticing is a kind of freedom. And each time you catch it sooner, you become someone steadier, softer, stronger. So don't look for a finish line. There isn't one. Look for the next breath, the next pause, the next tiny space where you get to decide again. Because emotion will come back, but so will your choice. And each time you choose wisely, you rewire something. You rewrite the story. You reclaim your center. That's how it builds. A life of emotional mastery is not built in one day. It's built in small moments of courage, stacked gently on top of each other. So, choose again. Today, tonight, tomorrow. Choose the breath. Choose the pause. Choose your calm, even if it's messy, even if it's late, even if your hands are shaking. Especially then, that's the strongest choice of all. You've come this far. 7 steps, each one small but sacred. You've learned to see yourself not as a slave to your feelings, but as someone who can choose, and choose again. Now, at home, imagine what your life could become if this was your rhythm, your way. That's what we're building at True Stoic Way. Not just information, but a practice, a path, a place to come back to each time life knocks you off center. Because it will, but so will your choice. So come walk with us, quietly, steadily. This isn't the end, it's the beginning of something real. And it starts again, right now in this breath, in this choice. Conclusion. Come back to yourself. You didn't come here to shut your heart down, to become unshakable by becoming untouchable. You came here to live with presence, to feel, but not be ruled, to breathe through the storm without being lost in it. That's what emotional mastery is, not coldness, but clarity, not suppression, but strength, not perfection, but freedom. And freedom, it's not loud, it's not flashy, it's quiet, it's patient, it's built slowly, one choice at a time. You've seen this for yourself now. You've learned that emotions aren't enemies. They're messengers, signals, reminders. You've learned that your body speaks first, that your breath is your anchor, that naming a feeling can disarm it. You've learned to reframe the story, to let go of what weighs you down, to choose again and again and again. And maybe you've started to feel something shift. Not everything is fixed, but you've paused more often. You've noticed your triggers. You've stepped back when the old you would have stepped in. That's how it starts. That's how you return. Back to yourself, the real you. Not the reactive you, but the steady, deep, clear you beneath the noise. And yes, this journey is hard. It will test you. Because the world won't stop being chaotic. People won't stop being human. You won't stop feeling deeply. But that's the point. Mastery doesn't erase the waves. It teaches you to ride them. With grace, with self-respect, with freedom. And when you slip, you begin again. Not from shame, but from understanding. That's the quiet power you're building now. Not to impress, not to dominate, but to be at peace with yourself, even when the world isn't. If this journey has felt like coming home, you are not alone, Wishfoin. This is the path we walk every day at True Stoic Way. Not as perfect people, but as honest ones. People who feel deeply but live wisely, who fall but keep choosing. If you're ready to keep building that strength from the inside out, one breath, one boundary, one choice at a time, come with us. Subscribe to True Stoic Way. Watch, reflect, practice. And let this be a reminder. You are allowed to be strong and soft, steady and imperfect, growing and whole, all at once. You don't need to do it all today. You just need to choose again. We're here when you do. Let's keep walking together.